So when I arrive at work, it says, "You're scrum. You're late for your scrum. You're late for security now." All right. Okay, I'm taking a deep breath. Thank you for your patience.
You've had all the coffee you need, Leo.
I actually haven't, and I'm waiting for my dose. What is that you're drinking?
This is my new formula.
Dear.
I'm off of Starbucks completely. I haven't been to Starbucks. Nope, no more Starbucks.
Oh my God, the stock price is going to tumble.
I was just spending too much time there, and I was having fun, but I was annoyed that I wasn't spending as much time working as I wanted to. So I thought, okay, let's bring coffee back into the casa. And so this is Starbucks espresso bean, which I vacuum seal so to keep it fresh throughout the lifetime of a pound, which appears to be about maybe 2 weeks. And I put in two different, those the vacuum that you use for sucking the air out of your wine bottles when you don't finish. That same company makes a whole line of canisters that you can do the same thing with. And
don't they pump nitrogen in instead of sucking the air out? You
can do that, but I found that it's just not necessary. If you suck the air out, I'm drinking it quickly enough. That
the issue with coffee is that it oxidizes rapidly. Yes, exactly. In fact, even after being brewed, it continues to oxidize.
Oh, it's why you just can't drink it after a couple hours. So then I found a burr grinder. You have to have a burr grinder.
Yes.
Not one of those just fracturing grinders, because all that does is sort of like create different sized dust, and that ends up being very bitter. Of course, I had a burr grinder for years because of my espresso habit.
Right.
But the problem is that it ground into a reservoir that you would then use they call a doser to like drop the measured amount of espresso into the filter holder.
That's like the Starbucks uses something like that. Yeah.
Right. But what I wanted was to be able to grind beans and have the coffee from that grind in my filter, not have it go in through a staging reservoir. So I found a grinder where I can take one scoop of beans right out of this vacuum pack deal, drop it in the top, it burr grinds it directly into the filter, and I found a cute little coffee pot that's got sort of like a Melita coffee brewer, where it's got the filter that sits right over the pot, and so that's disposable.
They use a blue bottle. Yep. And Ritual Roasters, they all have these like little things. Yep.
And so the result, Leo, oh my goodness, it is just. I mean, when my alarm goes off in the morning, I think, I can make coffee.
Well, let me ask you what brand of grinder you use.
I can have it for you next time. It's some random thing I found on Amazon, and looking at the picture, it looked like the reservoir was right below where it came out, and sure enough, that it just like
drops through.
It drops through. And as an experiment, because I said, I'm going to invest in figuring out a system for the next God knows how many years I'll be doing this, so it's worth spending some time. So I actually got some of the little, cheesy grinders just to make sure that they didn't work just as well. And I was stunned by the difference in taste.
How interesting.
It makes all the difference to have a uniform grind as opposed to basically, the little spinning blade ends up with a completely, variation from powder up to large pieces. And wow, the bitter oil comes out from the dust and just ruins the coffee.
The burr grinder looks like a gear instead of the blade.
It's actually a pair and you adjust the spacing.
Right.
So the bean has to make it.
It's like a pepper grinder.
It's like a good pepper grinder. So do you prefer brewed coffee like that to espresso? Well, I'm drinking the espresso roast. So I buy the espresso whole bean from Starbucks, and boy, are they greasy. I mean, they're just shiny. They stick together.
You want that though.
Yeah.
But the filter de-oils it, which I do like about it using a paper filter.
Yes, I tried it de-oils it and it takes some of the debris out also.
Yeah.
I tried the gold foil also as an experiment to get more of the oil, but there was sort of more sludge in the bottom, and it was as you said, it was more oily. So using the brown filter, you're not using a bleached paper, which you don't want because you get the bleach in your coffee, and that's no good.
Right.
And it's just the Melita. It's a number 2 filter. I think.
Have you ever tried? I do almost exactly what you do, but the one exception is I use an Aerobee AeroPress. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't.
Let me show you this on the screen. So. This is kind of a hybrid between a French press, an espresso, and a Melita. Yeah. And a lot of coffee fanatics like Marco Arment swear by this. I love it. So you do the same thing, but you put the grinds in this tube. And, here it is. This is how by the way, my coffee is made with this every day. So the grinds... there's a paper filter, which is kind of interesting, a circular paper filter. So you get some of the benefits of a Melita. That screws onto here. The grinds go in here. And actually, let me put the filter in. Now, I don't think they offer unbleached filters, unfortunately. So these are white bleached filters. But that goes in there. The grinds go on top of that. And then the water, and by the way, they say not to boil the water, but 175 degrees goes in here. Not boiling water, but 175 degrees, and then it sits there. You stir it up, so it's a infusion, and it sits for a little bit, and then
basically you push the coffee out of the way.
You plunge it, and because you're using a sealed plunger, unlike a French press, there actually is considerable PSI going on here. So it is.
So how do you grind the coffee? You grind it finer?
I grind it one step above the finest.
Okay.
0 or 1.
More like an espresso.
It's an espresso grind. So what you're getting is it's a mixture, a hybrid of a filter with pressure behind it, and there's quite a bit of pressure by the time you get to the bottom.
And does it just taste fantastic?
In my opinion, especially if you don't use boiling water, but 175 degree water, you're extracting exactly. But I want you to try this. I'll send you one.
Yeah.
I'll send you one.
I'll have one tomorrow, Leo.
But anyway, in my opinion, this is the kind of ideal way to... Because what are we doing? We're taking these beans that we're trying to extract from the beans. We're making a colloidal suspension from the beans of a variety of organic stuff. And we don't particulate, so the filter gets rid of all particulate and some oils.
Yeah.
But the pressure seems to be, I think it is kind of an ideal way to extract. You create a suspension,
and that
then
is
you
the secret behind espresso. You have a very, very fine grind, and there's no way water would ever drip through it. So you require a high pressure, a high pressure extraction, as they call it.
It's an emulsion. It begins. It begins as a suspension and turns into an emulsion. It is not a colloidal suspension. I was incorrect.
The yuppies can have their terms for their boardroom meetings, and we got our coffee. Anyway, the grinder is the KitchenAid Pro Line Series Burr Coffee Mill.
Yeah, I use a Krups, but I think they're probably all the same. It's the same idea.
KitchenAid Pro Line Series.
Yeah, I like KitchenAid stuff. They make great stuff. As long as
it's a Burr grinder,
right?
And this one just falls right through. I do it on a setting of 4. Is what it was.
Yeah. See, so you are you're doing a drip grind.
Yes. Yeah. Because I am a drip guy at the moment.
In Breaking Bad, which is the show in which the high school chemistry teacher turns to making meth, and he's a brilliant chemist. There is a scene in which his assistant, who later comes to a bad end, makes coffee, and they have this funny and using ChemLab gear, and they have this funny conversation. But he draws a little, there's beakers, and he draws a little vacuum on the thing, and it's really funny. And it is chemistry, right? Ultimately, it's chemistry, and you have to figure out what is my goal here? What is it that I'm trying to get from the bean and that I don't want from the bean, and all of that.